September 25th, 1949, they held the first what has now become NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race here at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Red Byron won it. Today, the 111th series race at this historic half-mile oval. It's under caution with Terry Labonte, the leader. Let's check down on pit road. Marty?
And Alan, one of the best comebacks in Cup history happened right here, and that is the subject of today's Built for Tough moment. In this race 2 years ago, not only did Kurt Busch start 36, but he overcame a spin that you see right here on lap 180 and held off a hard-fighting Johnny Benson to score his only win here at Martinsville. 36 is the furthest back any winner has ever started here at this historic racetrack. And I'm sure Kurt would love to take home another grandfather clock today.
Yes, he would. It would go a long way toward boosting his bid for the championship, and Kurt Busch is in second place right now as we get set to go back racing in one more lap. Tuesday, NBC, the next big thing in reality television when the biggest winner is the biggest loser. All for $250,000. It's the biggest loser Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
I'm not sure I would do that even for $250,000.
You don't think so?
I'm not sure I'd do that.
All right. Terry Labonte, the race leader. Kurt Busch second. Tony Stewart third. Ryan Newman fourth. Rusty Wallace fifth. On the lead lap, 36 of the 43 starters. And let's see if we can get some green flag racing in here between yellows.
Oh!
Yeah, better be careful there.
Boys, be careful because you cannot pass under NASCAR rules.
Second place.
Tony Stewart just dives to the inside of Kurt Busch. Uh-oh, Kurt, you could be in trouble.
Yep. Hung pretty tough. Come off the corner anyway.
Man, does he get off the corner.
Right in the middle, it looks like he has a little bit of trouble right there. Then he gets off the corner pretty decent. So it's dead even going into 3. He'll lose a little right here, and that was just enough for Tony to clear him.
New second place driver as Kurt tries to hammer his way back to that inside lane.
Oh, he went right across the 12. Marty, what are they saying about 12 car?
Man, that's kind of how you got to do it today. You got to wedge yourself into a hole, don't you, Wally?
Yeah.
You see the damage right there on the 12? You see that? A little bit of hood damage on Ryan Newman's car, but it does not damage the grill. They're a little concerned with the water temp as he tries to continue to get into Kurt Busch, but Matt Borland said let's not worry about it now. When they do stop, though, they're going to take some time, put some tape on the hood, and take some tape off the bottom grill. Bill?
Marty, a lot of talk up and down pit road about potential overheating problems, and one of the reasons for that could be all these little marbles of rubber coming off the tires. Benny, sometimes they go to the upper groove, but a lot of times where do they go?
Into the grill.
Exactly right. The air can't get through, the water temperature spikes, and then you got a big headache.
See, the 12 car, where that thing is bent, I'm sure that's hurting the air going through the grill. And cooling the radiator. The marbles that Bill talked about, that's rubber that comes off the tires, that the racetrack grinds off the tires. It goes up, there they are. This is marbles, all this in here, and those are okay. They come off, they're up on the racetrack, but sometimes they fly up in the air and stick against the grill on the oncoming car.
But sometimes if you get forced up into the outside groove, you're running all through those marbles, and they kick up, and they do get stuck on the front of your car, and they will overheat very quick, yeah.
For the lead, Tony Stewart dives to the inside of Terry Labonte and takes the lead.
Former Martinsville winner this race 2000, Tony Stewart out in front. Dave?
So far, Alan, this team very quiet and confident on the radio, but talking like they can play their pit strategy any way they want to. Asking Tony if he wanted to pit the last time, if the leaders did. Well, I can, or I could stay out here. The car is that good.
It's nice to have. Options, always good to have. How about it, Matt?
Terry Labonte hung on the outside, losing the lead, dropping back. The car was tight. They feel like they are one more track bar adjustment away of having that 5 car where he wants it. Tight, but still pretty decent.
Pretty impressive because he's got, what, 10 or 15 laps more on his tires than Rusty Wallace does with the 2 car.
Yeah, he's running pretty good, and he's got the track position now, so if they can keep pretty good pit stops on that car and make the right adjustments, Terry Bonnet, he always runs good here.
Terry Labonte started in 27th, did not pit at lap 42, and most of the other leaders did, and that's how he got his track position and get toward the front of the pack in this race. Got more on Terry for us, Matt?
Well, recently he announced the fact that he's having his Shifting Gears Lone Star style, kind of a retirement tour where he will run 10 races next year and then 10 the following year and then hang up the helmet. Now, he was asked, will Martinsville be one of those 20 races that he will run? He said, well, let me see how I do this year at Martinsville, and that'll be the big indicator of whether I come back. This could very well be Terry's last run at Martinsville if he doesn't have a great day. Right now, it's looking like he may come back.
Here's Jamie McMurray trying to make up some of that lost track position from the penalty earlier when he missed the commitment line coming to pit road.
He just passed the 17 car.
28th spot there.
Yep. That's a lot of track position to make up.
Man, is it ever.
He was 7th when he got the penalty, and it dropped him to 38th at the time.
Jeremy Mayfield, 19 car, going by 38 of Elliott Sadler, and Elliott's on the outside, and Marty, he's in trouble out there.
He's in a little bit of trouble, BP. They've had a loose race car on the last stop. They took a pound down the right rear tire and went down on the track bar. Bigger problem, though, he has a bad vibration in the brakes that he did not have when they tested here and hasn't had this entire weekend. That can't be a good feeling, BP, when you're going in the corner. You hit the brakes so hard here, and when it's vibrating, that's not a secure feeling, at least.
No. And that's probably it could be like a warped rotor. That's what happens a lot of times when you warp a rotor. And it is when you turn the steering wheel going into the corner and you get that vibration, and you may not even be on the brakes very hard, but that steering wheel just vibrates really, really hard in your hand, and it really affects the car.
And Elliott Sadler getting shuffled pretty deep back into the pack. Tony Stewart out in front, 5th different driver to lead the Subway 500 through the field when we come back to Martinsville, Virginia.
NBC's coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. By Discover Card, it pays to discover. By Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. And by new M3 Power from Gillette, the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns.
6th caution flag is out on the race. Multi-car accident. Dale Jarrett among those involved.
Pretty extensive damage to that car. Let's see if we can see what happened. It looks like the 17 car of Kenseth is on the inside of DJ going in the corner to make contact, and
he was way on the inside too. He was there.
And the 32 car runs in the side of him, and the 4 car runs in the rear, and looks like Casey Mears in 41 might have missed him altogether.
Unfortunately, Casey Mears. There you see it again. Watch Casey Mears coming. He gets into the 32 car, Bobby Hamilton. So he's got right front damage.
From Joe Nemechek's view.
Everybody wants to put them left sides right on the curb.
And everybody wants to get some fresh tires on their race car now on pit road. Bill?
Kevin Harvick will be one of the first cars to hit down at the turn 4 end of pit road. His car's been sliding the rear tires through the turns. It's 4 tires, a chassis adjustment, and an air pressure adjustment. Has finished worse than 30th in the last 2 races, Dave.
Tony Stewart's car is just a little bit tight. He's going to get just a little bit of a wedge adjustment. 4 tires and fuel for Stewart. Matt?
Kurt Busch first in points, second on the running order. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right front. The car was loose in, tied off. Marty?
Matt, Ryan Newman in pit stall number 1. They're going to fix a little bit of the damage. They're going to pull some tape from the right front of the grill. You see Ray Ocean doing it right there. 4 tires, but no chassis changes. Ryan says he loves the balance of the race car. Trying to beat the 97 off. He won't do it. He'll lose a lot of spots on pit road.
Boy, Rusty really had a couple close calls there leaving his pit.
I was just thinking, you and I were watching the same thing. I was just thinking, what a mess.
Man.
Kurt Busch out ahead of Tony Stewart on this set of pit stops. Caution flag is out. Matt Kenseth and Dale Jarrett tangle in turn 3, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Casey Mears join in the fun.